Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to break down the latest, teaser images that we got here for The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, in which we actually learn a lot more about the characters, and there's a lot of information that came out yesterday at Comic-Con that I do want to talk about, and it's all about Dead City Season 2 here. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, yesterday at Comic-Con, we did learn a couple of things. First of all, we actually saw that, well actually we didn't see, but there was 2 exclusive clips shown for The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2, so if you were there, you actually got to see the exclusive clips. I really can't wait to watch these. I think the second one they showed, there was like a really big reaction to it, so I do wonder, I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan sort of talked about it a little bit afterwards, and I think that might have been the moment where he gets Lucille or something, so it's something like that I feel like anyways, because they talk about the Croat's reaction afterwards, and like he's really happy or whatever, so I'm assuming that has to be what it is, but yeah, I really can't wait to see that. I feel like we're going to see that most likely once The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon finishes airing, which is going to be November 3rd, right, is when the finale airs. So around there, we'll probably get it, probably that same night, right? We did learn that the release date yesterday was in spring 2025, and the rumor has been March. And so I think it's going to be March. Again, I talked about that yesterday in my trailer breakdown. Again, it makes a lot of sense. They're not going to push it off until like May or June, just because, I mean, Daryl Dixon's airing in September, and I just think that you want the shows to be, you know, pretty evenly spread apart right now. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And like, there's been rumors for a while that it was supposed to be in March, and so that kind of adds up. The fact that they're saying spring, though, tells me that's probably going to be in late March and not early March, right? So yeah, it's probably going to be late March at some point. Maybe they push it off until April. I have no idea, but it's probably going to be around there, like late March, maybe early April, but I'm assuming March, which obviously is a couple of months away from now, but we still have Daryl Dixon airing right now, and the promotion for that show will start building up obviously in like February or whatever, right? January, February most likely, so it's not going to be that crazy of a wait compared to obviously The Ones Who Live going into Daryl Dixon Season 2. That was like 6 or 7 months, and there was just like not a lot of promotion at all. Like that was a lot, but we also did learn at Comic-Con that we're going to see a lot more messed up walkers, so I'm excited for that. You know, they talk about the Walker King, and they actually explained why they called the Walker King, which was kind of cool, and I guess it's because of all the rats in New York City, so they took some inspiration from that. We are going to see a lot more crazier walkers here this season. I feel like they're not going to be variants, though. I don't think the show's going to really necessarily get into that, and honestly, based off of watching the trailer, I don't really want them to get into that right away. I feel like Dead City should just kind of hold off on some of that. I know that stuff can be really exciting, but I think that Dead City, like just, you know, seeing the power go on in New York City, that was really exciting. The fact that there's actually going to be like these bigger world things happening in Dead City, like the CRM finding out about the fact that Manhattan has power now, or everyone finding out that, you know, Negan is now the leader of New York City, or I guess Manhattan, or whatever it's going to be. Like, obviously they have to build to that. Like right now, Negan, I think the job that he has to do is unite everybody. So whether or not he does that this season, we'll have to wait and see. But everyone finding out about that, if Dwight finds out about that, because obviously he's at the Sanctuary right now trying to rebuild that place, I could see how some of the crossovers could happen for a season 3. I could see how Rick could get involved at some point here, right? I think that's sort of where they're building a lot of this here. And so we did learn that Maggie, you know, in season 2, she's going to be looking after Ginny a lot because of, I mean, obviously Negan is with the Dama, so he can't right now. And so based off of a lot of the images here, I mean, first of all, we do have this one shot here of Bruegel. There's not a lot to know about him in general. All we know is that he's absolutely insane, and just wait. Like, everyone is really hyping him up quite a bit, and I've never seen a villain hyped up like him before. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, back in the day, like, maybe Negan was hyped up like that, where it was just like, oh, just wait until you see, you know, Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, right? Like, I feel like they haven't really hyped up a villain like this in quite some time, because Bruegel, they're just talking about how amazing Kim Coates is, and like how absolutely insane he could be, how funny he could be, how terrifying he can be. And so I'm excited to see what he brings to the story here. And obviously, if you're going to have a villain on the show that's going to be a villain to Negan, you're going to have somebody that is literally that character as well. And obviously, Kim Coates, like, if you've watched anything that he's ever really done, like, he can definitely play this role really well. And it really does feel similar to when they cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, right? Because back in the day, everyone was like, oh, that's so perfect. I could so see it. I could see how Kim Coates could be a really, honestly, iconic Walking Dead villain. He could really be one of the best villains the show's had in a really long time. Like, I really do feel like he's already better than Major General Beale, which I know is like kind of silly to say because we haven't seen Bruegel yet, but Major General Beale was a cool villain, but he just wasn't that, menacing or terrifying. He just had a lot of power, but it didn't really seem like he did anything with the power, right? It was more the system of the CRM that sort of was a little bit more, I guess, scary, right, for everybody. Bruegel, I think, is going to be a lot more terrifying to deal with, and so I'm so excited to see, the character here this season, and I just, again, I hope that he survives going into season 3, and I really wonder what sort of story they are building up here for Dead City, because again, just seeing the world, like seeing how many communities that they're sort of creating. And again, that's why Dead City feels like classic Walking Dead with communities like Alexandria, the Sanctuary and all that, because on Dead City, you have New Babylon, you have the Bricks. There might be other communities they introduce. You have, Manhattan and what's going on there. And you have Bruegel and I guess his group and all of that. Like, they have a whole world that they're building up here really, really well. And I think that's, that's one of the unfortunate things about season 1 of Dead City was that they focus too much on, the Maggie trying to find Herschel storyline that I think it took away from the bigger world. But also, again, I think that because it was a season 1, you do want to focus on more of a simple story, just sort of setting everything up here. So season 2, it looks like things are going to get way crazier, and I'm so excited to see where it goes. I really cannot wait, and I think that Bruegel is going to be one of the best villains. Like, I just think because Kim Coates is playing the character, like, it's going to be absolutely incredible. Honestly, I'm so excited for this. But we then have this shot here of Maggie, and at this point here, I think that, I don't think this is episode 1. Maybe it's later in episode 1, but I think that she is on her way to New York City. We see this shot here of the Marshal, and I'm really excited about his storyline this season because in season 1, it was very much just like he's trying to find Negan. In season 2, he lied about the fact that he was dead and all of that. So I think that's going to come into play here. There's going to be a lot of stuff here in terms of, do you actually kill him afterwards? Or like, where is his allegiance at this point? I think that he's probably going to leave New Babylon. But again, New Babylon, like the one thing that we learned in terms of the story is that New Babylon, they want the methane from Manhattan. And so there's been a lot of references to like this war that's sort of building up right now. And obviously they have to introduce all this stuff in the story in the first couple of episodes. And so I think this season's going to focus on building up a lot of that here. And I'm interested in learning a lot more about New Babylon because we've heard about these communities. We heard about the Bricks. We never really got to see a lot of, what the Bricks looks like. We know that it's a lot of former hilltop residents. There's a lot of stuff about New Babylon that I'm really curious about. And all the communities, obviously, in New York City. I think that this season, again, it just feels like classic Walking Dead. It's something that, honestly, watching it, it's going to feel really amazing to watch because the other spinoffs were just like its own thing. Like Daryl Dixon is totally its own thing. The Ones Who Live was really its own thing, right? Like obviously the CRM and all of that, not really community based at all. It was just like one place and you just had Rick and Michonne just sort of either in the CRM or they left, right? But like Dead City, this is the first show, at least for season 2 anyways, there's going to be actual communities here. And this is going to feel a lot like The Walking Dead. Like again, just tonally when you watch the trailer, it almost feels similar to The Ones Who Live. It looks like a sequel more to The Walking Dead, I would say. But yeah, anyways, we do see the Croat here. And obviously he's probably looking at, I guess, the Dama or Negan. It looks like he is in the church here, so I'm not sure what's going on. And then we have this new character named Lucia. And so she's actually going to be a pretty big character this season. I did recognize her from Orange is the New Black, so that's really cool that she's actually on the show. We don't know a lot about her, but what I will say in terms of the actress talking about the character at Comic-Con, she referenced that she never actually met the Croat or Negan, right? Like it was the first time anyways that she met the actor who plays the Croat and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So right there I was like, whoa, that's kind of spoilery in a way. So I'm guessing that you're a part of either the Bricks or New Babylon, right? And so when you look at her jacket here, it actually is the same jacket that the Marshal is wearing here. So that tells me right there that they're probably both from New Babylon. So she either is somebody from New Babylon, maybe she's a Marshal as well, who is investigating Pearlie Armstrong. I think that would be a really interesting storyline this season, but she is going to be a pretty big character here this season. So yeah, I think she's probably going to be from New Babylon. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But yeah, then we have the very last shot here, which obviously is, the most exciting shot of everything here, and that is Negan with Lucille, and we see him just being himself, right? And obviously, he's getting everybody to listen. And again, I don't know what it is about the character. Like, it's just such an interesting thing about the character. Like, maybe I should do a video on this at some point, but like when you just look back at the character and, you know, what the character has been through over the years, like in the beginning, when Negan was acting like this, people didn't like it. Though people did like it. Like, it was entertaining. It was really cool. It was fun. But there was definitely much more of a negative reaction to it, right? Whereas I think now people just find it so cool. Like, it's just, you sort of miss that about the character. And I think it's because they went away from it for a while. So you kind of missed the character, you know, being like that, like just being himself. Like when Negan was sort of going through that redemption arc of sorts, like it did feel like it was definitely necessary, but I still like the fact that, you know, while they were going through that, I think they came to the conclusion eventually that it was like, you know what, Negan, yes, maybe he's realizing certain things, but he's always going to be himself. Like, he's always going to be that monster that he was before is always going to be there. So I like the fact that he can just sort of be that person, you know, whenever he wants. And obviously, if you have Kim Coates, who's going to be a really terrifying villain, versus Negan, who's also one of the most iconic villains of The Walking Dead, like, that just sets up Dead City Season 2 to be, honestly, a really just entertaining season. So yeah, I'm so excited for Dead City Season 2. I really cannot wait. So yeah, but I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.